Hello, class. Good evening and welcome to Information Systems. The course code is INFT 283. And let's begin with our introduction to information. Now, when we talk of information, that is a meaningful interpretation of data. That is data that is well interpreted. That is what we call information. And from a system analyst point of view, information is a sequence of symbols that can be construed to a useful message. So we as IT professionals, anything that a business receives from a system that helps him to take a decision or make his work easier is regarded as an information. So that is what we're going to go through for this introduction. Now, when we talk of information system, it is a system that gathers data and disseminates information with the sole purpose of providing information to the users. So the main objective of an information system is to provide information to each users. If you are using computers or any kind of computer systems, the sole aim is to help provide the necessary information for the organization or helps you do your work. So here, providing information doesn't mean just the provision, but the processing of that information. If you are an architect and you have information system that helps to draw plans of buildings and other things, it is a useful tool that helps you to provide information about the building plans that you require. Or, in other words, roads, constructions. So they are all part of the information system. Now, let's look at the difference between information and data. Sometimes I believe we just interchange them. When we say data, it can be described as an unprocessed facts and figures. Let's give a typical example. In a typical banking hall, every day you go to do transactions. Somebody can deposit money, others go withdraw money, others put their monies in investments and so on. That raw figure represents what? A data. But depending on what you want to gain from it, then it can be processed to give certain what information to the managers, to the middle managers, top management, and so on and so forth. So plain collected data as raw facts cannot help in decision making. If you take a data to the bank manager that today this is the what the deposits and withdrawals, he ask you, what should I do with it? It doesn't provide him much. So data is the raw material that is organized, structured, interpreted to create useful information systems. Now, let's look at this. When you have raw data, it goes through processing to become information. This is something we know from even our first year. Now, information, knowledge, and business intelligence. A professor called Ray Larson of the School of Information at the University of California provides an information hierarchy, which is data. That's the raw material for information. The information itself, data organized and presented by someone. Knowledge, that is information read, heard, seen, and understood. Okay? Then wisdom is a distilled and integrated knowledge and understanding. So here, when you have raw facts collected from field, it is data. When you organize them in such a way that you can make predictions or meaningful use, it becomes information. And knowledge is when you have studied that information and you understand and you can apply. So when we say wisdom, that is when you can integrate, that is, integrate the knowledge you have received from the information into other areas. That is what Prof gave us. Now let's see. Another person, Scott Andrews, also explained information continuum as data as a fact or piece of information or series thereof. Then information and the knowledge descend from data. When we talk of business intelligence, it's an information management pertaining to an organization's policy or decision, and that decision making, and particularly when tied to the strategic or operational objectives. Every company you work with as an IT person does business and requires certain level of business intelligence. So the information they receive from the system helps them to form policies and make decisions. And this influences their strategic goal or objective of the organization. For instance, just imagine a company or a bank IT system. What does it do? A lot. Okay, so every day there is an operational objective that they require to achieve. And this information system, for instance, they want people to be able to withdraw money with ease using the ATM, banking transfers using your mobile phones. Okay, so that information system you deploy for the bank should be able to support that idea. So the bank's strategic position and operational objectives is achieved when you are able to deploy all these IT systems for them. Now let's see. Information data collection techniques. How do we collect information? First of all, the most popular data collection technique include surveys. When you want to know what an organization does, you can either ask them questions or you design a questionnaire for them to fill, just like we've been doing every time. A questionnaire is prepared to collect data from the field. So you go to a particular workplace, you give the workers questionnaire, you look at what they do in the daily basis and what they require. That will inform you about what they do, what you need to deploy in terms of information systems. The secondary data source or archival data, that is data stored for the organization. So data is collected through old records, magazines, company websites, and the rest. And then objective measures or tests. That is an experimental test is conducted on a subject and the data is collected. So these forms the various techniques of collecting data from our organization. Aside these three, we also have interviews. In fact, they are very common. People go to people's workplace and interview them about their work, and that will inform you about what you need. For instance, currently, if you ask a teacher, what do you require to teach online? He'll be able to tell you the gadgets and other things that he requires. So data is collected by the system analyst by following a rigid procedure and collecting the answers to a set of preconceived questions through personal interviews. Now let's look at the classification of information. Information can be classified according to this table shown here. First of all, the main classification techniques include classification by characteristics, then classification by application, and then classification by management hierarchy. So under characteristics, we have action versus non-action information. There are information that when you receive, you need to take an action. And there are some that you don't need to take any action at all. We have information that keeps recurring, and there are others that comes once and that is it. We have internal versus external information. As organization require information internally, okay, and it also requires information externally. For instance, a company may have to get information about what is selling outside there, what is moving. Internally, you need to be able to inform your members for meetings, for your objectives, other things that are going on in the organization. And the information system you deploy must be able to solve these problems. Apart from that, we have classification by application. We have planning information. When you're planning for your day-to-day activity or doing a long-term planning, you still require information systems. And that information you obtain from this must be able to help you to plan. And then control information. Control information is when you are already in operation, but you require certain information to adjust your operation. For instance, your strategic code tells you that you're going to provide these particular items, but along the line, you receive information from the market that no, the item is what? You have had a replacement that is doing so well. So do you continue to produce the old items? No. So this is a control information that helps you to adjust. Then we have knowledge information that gives you a broad idea about what is going on, both internally and externally. And then we have classification by management hierarchy. Here we have supervisor level information, we have middle level information, and then top management information. Each of the categories of the workforce, okay, have particular information that is necessary for them. It's not all information that should go to management. And likewise, it's not all information that should come to the bottom line employees. So this classification is very important. I hope we have really understood this. Now let's see. Let's go deeper. When we say classification by characteristics, it's based on Anthony's classification of management. That is information used in business for decision making is generally categorized into first, strategic information. When we say strategic information, it's concerned with a long-term policy decision that defines the objective of a business and checks how well these objectives are met. For instance, acquiring a new plant, a new product, diversification of business, etc., comes under strategic information. This information really helps the organization to be strategic in its activities. Other than that, you have a plan to produce a new product, but make sure that somebody produces a cheaper version in front of you, you're dead. So this strategic information helps to achieve organization's long-term plan. Now we have what we call tactical information, and that is concerned with the information needed for exercising control over business resources, like budgeting, quality control, service level, inventory level, productivity level. So this helps to the tactical operation of the organization. And then we have operational information, which is concerned with plant or business level information, and it is used to ensure proper conduction of specific operational tasks as planned or intended. And various operator specific, machine specific, shift specific, jobs for quality control checks all comes under operational information. So this information goes with the actual operation of a business. Okay, and all these must be provided by the information system of our organization. Now we have what we call, I mentioned, planning information. In terms of application, that is classification by application, we have planning and control information, just like I mentioned. And these are information needed for establishing standards or standard norms and specifications in an organization. This information is used as strategic, tactical, and operation planning of any activity. So examples include information are time standards, design standards, and so on and so forth. So this helps you to set the standard and plan ahead of whatever you're coming to do. Then we have control information. This information is needed for establishing control over all business activities through feedback mechanism. Like I told you, you are working and you need to be able to control how the operation is being managed. Okay, so you need to receive information as the business is running. Whether you are running at loss, something is going amiss, you need to fix it or not. And this helps you to make decision or adjustment to the already laid out plans. So it's a feedback control mechanism that helps you to straighten up. Okay, And then we have knowledge information. That is, knowledge is defined as information about information. So knowledge information is acquired through experience, learning, and collected from archival data and research studies. Okay? In our part of the world, we don't do a lot of research. So we lack a lot of knowledge about the application of even our IT systems. But every organization must what? Research into your, or what? Probably you can go through your archive and find out that particular year you made huge profit. And then you ask yourself, how did I make it? Okay? So you adjust, and then such an information helps you. So organizational information, that is, deals with organization's environment, culture, and in the light of objectives. So Carl Weck's organizational information theory emphasizes that organization reduces its equivocality or uncertainty by collecting, managing, and using this information prudently. This information is used by everybody in the organization. So we have employee pay and payroll information. I mean, you should know what is going on in the organization. That's what you call the organizational information. Then we have functional or operational information. And this is operation specific. For example, daily schedules in daily operation specific, for example, daily schedules in manufacturing plant. That refers to the detailed assignment of jobs to machines or machines to operators. In a service-oriented business, it will be the duty roster of various personnel. This information is mostly internal to the organization. So the operational information, who operates on what is being done at a specific time, I mean the reporting lines. Then we have database information. That database information constitutes large quantities of information that has multiple usage and application. Such information is stored, retrieved, and managed. I mean, we know how to create databases. For example, material specification, supply information, okay, customers, and so on and so forth. These are databases you keep for the organizational intelligence. Now we also have, let's talk about quality of information. So information is vital resources for the success of organization. So future of an organization lies in using and disseminating information wisely. So good quality information placed in right context, in right time, tell us about opportunities and problems well in advance. So for instance, if you have good quality information, it helps you to plan and always lead the market. Okay, you know what your customers want, you know what is trending in the market, and you can design an IT system that really, currently, if I ask you to tell me what are some of the applications really require in certain organizations, if you're working with SNIT, you can tell SNIT lacks a lot of what information system. You can easily get your information on your pension updates. They don't have a means of people who are trading in the market to really contribute their what. That is their SNIT contribution. So they only depend on the formal sector alone. You can study, make research, and design good quality information for them. Now let's see, according to Wang and Strong, following are dimensions or elements of information quality. We have what we call intrinsic. And here we're talking about accuracy, objectivity, believability, and reputation of that information. So how accurate, how objective, can people believe it? Can you or yourself, can you believe it? And then the reputation. We have what we call the contextual, that is the relevancy. It could be accurate, but is it relevant to you? Value added, does it add anything to your organization? Timeliness, that is, if you give me an information that I needed strongly yesterday and you gave it to me today, though it's good, but it's unnecessary because it's gone. So it tells you that information should arrive in time. It should be complete. If you give me half information that I cannot use to predict, so it should be complete. And then the amount of the information, is it so much? The volume, is it conceivable? And then representational, that is, interpretability. Some people give you information and you cannot interpret it, the format of which this information is given. So all these are delivered by the IT system. Coherence. Can I follow and make meaning? And compatibility. Is the information compatible with my system that I have? Okay. Then we have accessibility. That's accessibility, access, security, and the rest. All goes to inform us about quality of information. So various authors propose various lists of metrics for assessing the quality of information. So let us generate a list of the most essential characteristics features for the information quality. First of all, we have reliability. It should be verifiable and dependable. I should be able to verify what you give me, and it should be dependable in terms I'm using the information to take decision. Can I depend on it? And then timely in such a way that, like I just said, it should come on time so that I can use. If it comes late, it is of no use. And if it comes too early, there's a possibility of that information changing as time goes on. All right, so we have relevant. Relevant, it should be current and valid information, and it should reduce uncertainties. So as soon as you get the information, it clears some of your doubt. Accurate, should be free from errors. And it should be sufficient. That's where we're talking about completeness. And then unambiguous, it should be clear in terms of words and the way it's presented. And I said it should be complete. All right, it should be unbiased. It should be impartial, free from any bias. Some researchers conduct research for some organizations, and sometimes when they put their results there, you see that it is biased towards that researcher. So sometimes if you want to take it, then you are in trouble. Some people can conduct research to destroy other people's what they've designed so that others will not buy. The information should be explicit. It should not need any further explanation. You don't have to go and seek further explanation anywhere. Then comparable. It should be uniform, collected, analyzed content and format. And then reproducible. That means it could be used by a documented method or the same data set to achieve a consistent result. So let's look at information need and objectives. So information processing beyond doubt is dominant industry of the present century. Today, organizations depend on information seriously. And let's look at some few factors that reflect on the needs and objective of the information processing. So increasing impact of information processing for organizational decision making, dependency of services sector, including banking, financial organizations, healthcare, entertainment, tourism and travel, education, numerous others on information. Tell us, banks depend so much on information. Healthcare now, look at the workflow. Today, you go to a healthcare right from the records where your data and vital statistics are taken. It is sent to the doctor. The doctor prescribes a lab. It goes straight to the lab. So when you go, most hospitals have stopped what? The paper, writing on papers. So everything is in the system. At the end of the day, all charges, medication given in the workflow. So as soon as the doctor is done, the pharmacy opens the system with your ID and your information is there. Very simple. Okay, so that is the kind of information system we are talking about. So changing employment scene world over and shifting pace from manual agriculture to machine-based manufacturing and other industry-related jobs. Information revolution and the overall development scenario. So currently, almost every sector of the economy depends on information. If you're a farmer, you can't be producing when you don't know where you're selling your things. And that's what Ghana we lack. We lack. When you finish, the market should give you an information. You should have an information system that is so dependable, that is telling you that maize is sold at this price here, beans is sold there, the goat market is thriving here, and that should inform you what you should be producing. So growth of IT industry and its strategic importance. Strong growth of information services fueled by increasing competition and reduced product life cycle. Currently, if you are producing, you are a manufacturer at a particular locality, don't think you are a monopoly. You will be there and somebody from far away will be taking your market because he's selling on the internet, producing at a lower price, and people prefer to buy and they will deliver instead of you, which is closer. All depends on information. So, improvement in communication and transportation brought by the use of information processing. Use of information processing in reduction of energy consumption and reduction in pollution and better ecological balance in future. So, land records management, legal systems, educational institutions, natural resource planning, customer relation management, what? All of them. Talk about them. Many now depends on information systems. So in a nutshell, we're saying that information is needed to survive in the modern competitive world. Information is needed to create strong information systems and keep these systems up to date. And that is the reason why we are here with this lesson. Let's study carefully, and I believe by the time we are done, we'll be well abreast with the current structure of information systems that are required to try or to move business. Thank you for watching. God bless you.